The next step, running for office. We're going to be hearing from three of our friends, Sascha, Bittner, Ryan Duncanwood, and Mary Platt. They're each going to have just a few minutes. They're going to describe, tell you who they are and what they are doing. And I'm really excited about this. They're all three wonderful people. And so we're going to kick things off with Sascha, because I know that she's on a tight schedule right now because she's about to get a vaccine, if I understand correctly. So Sascha is going to join us, and she's going to tell us about her experience running as a candidate for the California Democratic Party. And hello, Sascha. Welcome. We're thrilled you're with us.
I'm glad to be here.
Glad to be here.
When I decided to run.
When I decided to run
for delegate.
For delegate.
To the California Democratic Party.
To the California Democratic Party.
I issued a statement on Facebook.
I issued a statement on Facebook.
And my dad will read it.
I'm pleased to announce I'm running to be an Assembly District 19 delegate to the California Democratic Party. I have been so honored to be a Speaker Pelosi appointed delegate, and that experience inspired me to try to break down another barrier, this time in terms of a person who is quadriplegic with a speech disability actually competing in an election. Delegates can be appointed or elected. While I was not chosen for a delegate slate, which makes this run more challenging, to slightly paraphrase Shirley Chisholm's famous words, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring your own wheelchair. I've lived in this district for 30 years, working hard to try to help improve the lives of those in this community and elsewhere. And I'd like to continue to pursue that goal as an AD 19 delegate. I've been a longtime disability rights activist and a domestic workers' rights activist since 2011, when Assembly Member Tom Amiano asked me to get involved with this movement, and I found it a perfect fit for my values, interests, and skills. I wasn't very involved in electoral politics until 2016, when I spent many hours a day doing data entry for the Clinton campaign during the general. After that devastating election, I realized I needed to get more involved in Democratic politics, and I was very fortunate to have Christine Pelosi, whom I'd met at the SF Clinton campaign headquarters, to mentor me and encourage that involvement. In 2017, I was thrilled when then leader Pelosi appointed me as delegate for the first time, and I've continued to become more involved on various committees and caucuses in red to blue efforts, in the primary campaigning for Harris and Warren, and in my recent selection as a Biden-Harris delegate. In pursuing this particular goal, I've been inspired by Kimberly Ellis and her work with Emerge, and by the faith originally placed in me by Tom, Christine, Speaker Pelosi, Lieutenant Governor Eleni Kounalakis, who has also been very supportive, and by so many others who have generously made the effort to personally encourage and uplift me. Unfortunately, I didn't win, but as soon as the results were announced, I got a call from Speaker Pelosi's office saying that she was reappointing me as a delegate. While ableism might have contributed to me not being offered a position on the slate I was seeking, sometimes I think people are not really aware of my skills, and I think I'm just a token. I don't think that was the main factor in my defeat. I mean, once I wasn't on a slate, it was going to be harder. But usually the California Democratic delegate election is an in-person election in each California Assembly district. But because of COVID, the party had people register online to vote, and then the ballots were sent out to voters to return. The slate that won was more moderate than the delegates usually elected in San Francisco, maybe because the unique situation meant they were able to buy lists of voters in our assembly district and reach out to them to sign up to vote. But I didn't have those financial resources. A lot more people voted than usual, and I think if it had been a normal in-person election, we would have had the usual active Democrats who know me better. I would have had access to all the voters in the election and would have been able to talk to them at the delegate voting event. At any rate, it was a really good experience, both for me and the party. I think that a lot of people inside the party had underestimated me and my political savvy. Before I even announced my candidacy, I got the endorsement of Lieutenant Governor Eleni Kounalakis. I also got endorsements from labor unions and a couple of Democratic clubs after they conducted online question and answer sessions, which were a bit nerve-wracking, but interesting. The whole experience was very educational, and I do plan to run again. In fact, I'm currently running for the California Democrats Disabilities Caucus Vice Chair.
And this time I was chosen for slate.
And this time I was chosen for that slate.
Yay.
Yay.
And as was the explained,
And as Rusty explained,
any Democrats can join the caucus.
any Democrat can join that caucus.
And so I hope you join us.
So I hope you'll join us.
Oh, and now I have to go get my thought.
Now I have to go get my shot.
And thank you.
Thank you so much, Sascha. I love that story. It's good to see you. And
Yeah, and I'm sorry I won't stay for questions.
that's all right. Wonderful to see you, and thank you for sharing that, inspiring others to run as well and get involved. Take care of yourself. Next up, we're going to hear from Ryan Duncanwood, who is up in the Shasta County area, talk about his experience as well. So we're going to, and the next up will be Mary Platt. We're going to have Ryan join us.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan, how are you? Nice to see you.
Yeah.
So we're going to listen and hear from you for a few minutes on your experience running for the office, and tell us the office, right?
I'm a proud Democrat.
Proud Democrat.
I'm a proud Democrat.
And you ran for a delegate in the Shasta County committee, is that correct?
Yeah.
Great. And you won, is that correct as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on that now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you have more that you wanted to, did you have something ready to share with us?
Yeah.
No, okay. Just wanted to make sure that we highlighted your incredible effort in running for that office and being successful in doing so. And I will make sure that, and in Attendify, if people want to read and learn more about Ryan and his position and what he ran for and successfully won, in Attendify, you look under speakers and Ryan's bio is there with his position. And Ryan is also a board member on the ARC of California's board of directors, which is always wonderful to have his opinions and ideas and thoughts being part of the ARC of California. He's also on just about every other board in the whole country as well. He's a very active guy.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Ryan, and we'll make sure to share your bio with everybody that is on Attendify. It is in the chat right now if people want to click on that and look at that. Nice to see you, Ryan. See you soon. And then up next is Mary Platt, who will tell us a little bit about herself and why she got involved and ran for office as well. Hi, Mary.
Yeah.
Hi there. Good morning, everybody. So my name is Mary Platt. I'm a board member, president of the board of the ARC of Ventura County. My son, Michael, is 29 years old and was diagnosed with autism at the age of 3. I learned pretty quickly that you had to be an advocate for your child when they have special needs. And I got involved in the in the board of Easter Seals, Southern California, living here in Simi Valley, and also was elected to the national board of Easter Seals. And that gave me my first taste of meeting with legislators. And I had an experience that was pretty devastating, and that was we were advocating for a particular bill to be passed, and a number of the congressional offices that I went to did a real thumbs down on it. It's like, we have no interest in this. When I retired 5 years ago, I decided that this is where I was going to start to spend my energy. Got involved in my local Democratic club, and within a year or two, I was encouraged to run as an ADEM. I think I got lucky. I didn't know much about it at the time, but I was on a slate. I was on a slate with some really impressive people, and not all of us won, but I was one of the women that did. And this last go around, I was going to say, oh, let somebody else do it this time. But I was approached by some people in the assembly district, and they said, no, 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 we need you on this thing. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do it. And this time my entire slate won. As a delegate, I've been on the disabilities caucus. That was like my priority. And I'm also on the public policy committee for the ARC of California. So I see it as a really great way to take back to each of these groups, to make sure each of these groups knows what the other is doing. We can work together and get some legislation passed. Elections are coming up within the California Democratic Party, and I'm running to be one of the at-large delegates for the Disabilities Caucus. So my hope is to be a more formal liaison between the Disabilities Caucus and the legislative committee that the party has.
I love that, and thank you for sharing, Mary. And I love especially that, being part of the Disabilities Caucus is really good. But what's, I think, even more important is being part of, the disability community and being part of another community and making those bridges happen. And using that Democratic Party as example. If you're on the Disabilities Caucus, that's great. You're probably preaching to the choir a whole lot. So you got to get on the Public Policy Committee as well and influence the Public Policy Committee within the whatever organization you're in, being part of that other thing to influence them to open their eyes and minds to the priorities of the disability community. So thank you so much, Mary, for joining us. Good seeing you. Mary is also on the board of the ARC of California, and love working with her. So thanks for joining our conference.